Imagine scrolling through your phone late at night. The house is quiet, and suddenly you stumble upon a story so chilling that you can't stop reading, even though every instinct tells you to look away. These aren't just ghost tales or urban legends. These are real horror stories told by everyday people on Reddit. Stories that have haunted thousands and left readers questioning what's lurking just beyond their doors. Tonight, I'm going to share with you the top 5 most terrifying Reddit horror stories that will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. And trust me, number 3 will freeze your blood. Story 1. The Stalker in the Woods. It starts with a young camper, eager for solitude deep in the wilderness. She's miles from civilization, nestled in a tent surrounded by towering trees and silence that feels almost sacred. But as the night deepens, the peace shatters. At first, it's a faint rustling, something outside just beyond the firelight. She brushes it off, telling herself it's probably an animal. But then comes the knocking, soft, deliberate, coming from the side of her tent. No one should be out here, she thinks, heart pounding. She calls out, but only silence answers. The knocking grows louder, more urgent, and when she finally gathers the courage to unzip the tent flap, there's no one there. Only footprints leading into the dark forest. What followed in that wilderness was something no one expected, and the story unfolds with chilling evidence that she was never truly alone. Story 2. The Midnight Caller. Next is the story of a man who lives alone in an old apartment building. One night, his phone rings at exactly midnight. When he answers, there's nothing but heavy breathing. Thinking it's a prank, he ignores it. But the calls don't stop. They come every night. Always at midnight, always the same sound. One evening, curiosity turns to dread as he answers and hears a whisper. "I'm right behind you." He spins around, but the hallway is empty. Cameras show no one entering or leaving his apartment, but the calls continue, each more terrifying than the last. What connects this midnight caller to the building's dark past? And who, or what, is really on the other end of the line? Story 3. The Abandoned Asylum. Now picture an old asylum, long shut down and left to rot. Walls peeling, hallways dark and echoing, the kind of place where every shadow feels alive. A Reddit user decided to explore it one stormy night, armed, with only a flashlight and their phone. At first, it was just the creaks and groans of an old building settling, but soon, the atmosphere changed. The flashlight flickered. Whispered voices started drifting through the halls, soft, almost indistinguishable but unmistakably human. Then, a door slammed shut somewhere deep inside. They raced toward the exit, only to find it locked tight. Panic set in as footsteps, slow, deliberate, approached from behind. The last thing recorded was a chilling breath right next to the camera before the feed cut out. To this day, no one knows what happened to that explorer, but the video still circulates online, proving some places are better left alone. Through Story 4, The Possessed Doll. Dolls. Innocent toys meant to comfort children, until they don't. One Reddit poster shared a terrifying tale about a doll they inherited from their grandmother. At first, it was just an odd feeling in the room, unease without reason. But then things escalated. The doll would mysteriously move between rooms overnight. Sometimes its head would be turned to look directly at the door. One morning, the poster woke up to find the doll sitting upright on their chest, staring into their eyes. Terrified, they threw the doll away, but it kept finding its way back into the house. Paranormal investigators were called in, and they recorded strange electronic interference and cold spots around the doll. The story ends with a warning. If you ever find a doll that feels alive, don't keep it. Don't even touch it. Story 5. The Cursed Phone Call. The last story begins with a simple phone call, something most of us experience every day without a second thought. But for this Reddit user, That call turned into a nightmare. One evening, their phone rang with an unknown number. Curious, they answered. At first, only static. Then came a voice. A whisper so faint it was barely audible, but unmistakably sinister. The caller repeated one phrase over and over. "You can't escape." Over the next few days, the calls multiplied, coming at all hours, each time with more disturbing messages. Attempts to block the number failed. It kept coming back, sometimes from different numbers, but always the same eerie voice. The user began seeing shadowy figures lurking just beyond the edge of their vision, feeling watched wherever they went. The story ended with the user abandoning their phone, disappearing offline, leaving readers wondering, what if the curse isn't just on the phone, but on the person who answered it? These stories might just seem like tales from the internet, but the fear they evoke is very real. What's haunting about these Reddit horror stories is that they come from people just like you and me, ordinary folks who found themselves face to face with the unexplainable. Whether it's a mysterious knocking in the woods, a haunted asylum, or a cursed phone call, one thing is certain. Sometimes, the scariest monsters don't live in movies or legends. They live in the shadows of our everyday lives. So, tell me, if you were alone at night and your phone rang with an unknown number, would you answer? Or would you lock the door, pull the covers over your head, and hope the nightmare never finds you? If you enjoyed these chilling tales, hit that like button and subscribe for more real horror stories that will keep you up at night. And if you've got a horror story of your own, something so strange and terrifying it feels impossible to believe, drop it in the comments below. Because in the darkest corners of the internet, sometimes the truth is scarier than fiction.